Sentinels. And as you can see right now here, Dan, from the Prime Gaming roster rundown, it seems pretty much the same here for NUTURN. The Viper still comes out, as you mentioned, from Dapper. We have 10s on Arena. So again, for Sentinels side, no Jet, nothing really out of the ordinary, actually, for Sentinels going into this lineup here.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like the tried and tested and true lineups of both teams. What we've come to expect has come to fruition here in terms of the compositions. And we already mentioned, some teasers as to things that we can expect from both of these sides. I think it's going to be such a fun game. I think both teams are going to have a lot of different gears to go to. And with that said, it is time to kick off map 1 of this best of 3 here for the upper finals at Masters 2 Reykjavík between NUTURN and Sentinels. It is going to be very exciting to see how this one starts off. And it's going to be Sentinels on defense. And we're going to have NUTURN on offense.
Yeah. And you're already seeing it, right, Dan? You're talking about Dapper, how good it could be as a Viper, putting that wall up on the shower side to delay. So you see the split already coming out from NUTURN, already expecting that it's going to be slightly weaker on that B side, and they had that flash and dash available too. But it's still going to be the duelist working towards hookah, and they're using the utility instead of Sova to clear things up.
And the push actually here is being somewhat dismantled. It's just one prong that remains, which is the long push, but they're starting to disperse. Solo does have the spike on his back. So his teammates can't really leave him out there by himself. And Shazam's going to take him down. So actually the spike went through the TP as well. Quite annoying. Yeah, somewhat of a false start here for NUTURN on round 1. Perry and Lackey, I'm not sure exactly what they can do in this position.
They have no choice, right? If they want to get the spike, they have to go through the teleporter, and now it's just Sentinels. They notice this upper hand. They want to press early. They just want to try to hunt him down. And they want to set the pace quite early, too, to get those immediate 2 kills into hookah to show that, hey, the split, we expected it, even though they had less players. It still comes down to the aim battles, right? 10s open up quite well. And Perry, at this point, he's just going to try to build the ult points, build the economy, and just let Sentinels, hopefully he could catch someone a mistake, does get the headshot into Dapper, but that's it. Sentinels, they open up the board in this series.
And that means we'll go straight into the anti-eco there. The defenders of Sentinels having the superior economy will be mostly on those SMGs, I'd imagine. But what should we expect here from NUTURN? What do they want to do? Obviously, they did not get the spike planted, so I doubt we'll see a force buy. Never mind.
Ooh.
They are gonna force buy. All right.
and that's something that's... for me, unorthodox, because when you look at the playstyle of NUTURN, they actually just go for a force buy once they get a spike plant down, even if they lose a round. But losing a round, not get a spike plant, and going for a buy, they just want to try to catch up right away. And they only killed 2 players too, right? But you see at the beginning of the round, they're holding a default because of that. That allows a lot of map control, orb control as well for Sentinels, and they hold back on a default. And NUTURN seems to be wanting to just execute and go fast into the short A.
Yeah, Suggest already fired his Spectre, so I think that this is known right now from Sentinels. They know that there's a buy coming through here, and they are going to just absolutely crush this one. NUTURN trying to make their way through the short position. Completely denied by Sentinels, and now it's just a Sheriff and Frenzy remaining now for NUTURN to get some kind of damage in on this round. And really, there's a huge amount of pressure to get damage. They've done no damage so far. There's one headshot, a second comes through from Lakia. That is at least something.
We actually do love those caster curses to give a little bit of hope right now for NUTURN on this force buy that they have, and it just shows how an Aster right now could be very detrimental to these explosive plays from NUTURN, right? As they're trying to dash across, you saw those stars came on the ground, Nova Pulse, Gravity Well, it just splits out only to leave Jet allow by himself inside that A site, and it's just an easy picking from an off angle just by towels, by the double backs at the A site for Sentinels. So that foils up the plans. NUTURN couldn't even cross into the site. This should put them on a full eco right now for NUTURN. But at the same time here, Dan, when I'm thinking back as this force buy for NUTURN and Lakia and company, is this on the 4th round, they should still be able to go for like the standard full rifle round. So trying to chip the economy from Sentinels away on that 2nd round was that goal at the same time. But unfortunately, with only 2 kills with the Sheriff, there's still a lot in the hands of Sentinels on this bonus round.
And then we can see that fault line towards showers to gain early showers control for NUTURN.
Yeah, and it's a change of pace, Dan. They have actually a Viper Wall towards this B side instead. So really adding a little bit more utility towards the shower side, leaving showers open, but they're looking to play more passively, right? Playing towards the U-Haul, and they can play the retake on A side as well.
Yeah, this might be a default we see commonly that from them, you know, stun showers, dart long, boombot hookah, and then just sort of hold passively here towards showers. That said, Sentinels are playing very passively because they know that they have such an enormous advantage on the weaponry that they just should never give peeks to these sheriffs. That's how they lose the round, is by giving a peek up to the sheriff, a headshot. And if that was a headshot, that would be a 5v4 suddenly. You know, you don't want to give those ones up if you're Sentinels right now. So they're doing a good job.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I was talking about this with Paper Thin at the same time, too. The aim train that you have for NUTURN in Korea in general is just trying to aim out with the Sheriffs in warm-up until you're actually able to hit maybe 20 of them in hard mode and you're ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, they're selling a fake here towards the A side, but still walking the spike towards B.
30 seconds left.
Might be an opportunity here, though. That said, Dapper hiding in a forward position here with the Judge in hookah. It's going to be quite powerful, but oh, hello, there's a freebie for Solo. That's Shazam down. I think that gun is recoverable indeed. Solo's going to pick that one up. Oh, not a good range for the Judge, and suddenly it's getting a little hairy here. Two players in this post-plant scenario, and the spike's going to go down just in the nick of time because he Zoms knows his lineup's there, and Sentinels will try to assault this B site to get control once again. Solo able to get one. There comes the flash. Oh, he's in such a good position here. Solo converts another answer.
No way.
Comes through to finish it off. NUTURN, what a conversion. I don't think Sentinels had any idea.
Would you expect a Solo lurk? No pun intended, actually, at that point. Solo went by himself up towards Long B, made it all the way to spawn side, and said, we know the Viper Wall's there. We know that there's potentially a Judge being played from Dapper from that previous round. Let's just play the long-range battle. And for him to catch that kill and take the Spectre after, to allow the rest of NUTURN to work towards that B site, was huge. Dapper, mid-range with a Judge. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. He loses it towards hookah, and that was a much-needed eco for NUTURN. Because look at this, the tides have turned. They have the economy advantage for NUTURN's side, and Sentinels, it's now Sentinels' turn to be on an eco. But that said, Tense does have a Marshal. He's playing towards his B side, where NUTURN's looking to hit towards A once again. So you're just, again, trying to hold the economy back, or should I say the utility back on the defender side, and try to have the rotate numbers in the end for Sentinels.
I think NUTURN are trying to indeed just get rid of as much util as they can from Sentinels' defense. And Sentinels, they do, of course, really want to lean as many players towards A as possible, given that that's where they've seen the pressure, but they have no information on B. So for NUTURN to play a slow pace like this really does call many things. The information to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And
might have worked a bit.
They're just walking back and forth.
Yeah, so Shazam, his recon dart came up, he shot it towards Long B, and Tenz is still watching hookah Long B with the Marshal, so they had the right numbers advantage, and now they're guessing that it's going back towards B, and this is a perfect call.
Yeah, great fall line coming through the epicenter there as well. Tenz trying to... Oh, he actually hit him. I think he leg shotted him there. Lakia and Allow both getting the entries, however, and beautiful stuff. I'm just enjoying very much the use of Breach from NUTURN. I think is one of the most enjoyable things for me watching them play. It's when they bring out the Breach. And
yeah,
it's just a case of holding against these remaining weapons. It should be child's play.
Yeah.
There we go. Sick, trying to do some damage there around spawn. And he'll get taken down for the Prime Gaming Flawless.
And you're right, Dan. Just the amount of fault lines, and that's something that we actually got to witness in North America ourselves once we had Zeta that actually came into North America and was playing that Breach, right? And he even played at some point with 180 ping and was still able to get aces across the board in North America. So now that we have a finer taste of how good he is in terms of the utility with the Breach on different maps such as Split, for example, as well with Cloud9 currently, it now shows how good NUTURN overall are in terms of this flash and dash composition that they came came out with, and that it's still very much viable in the scene right now on the Masters 2 stage. So keep an eye out here for Solo, the way that he wants to open things up here for Allow and also for Suggest to get into the sites, right? Because it's not only about the fault line. The fault line dazing TenZ allows Suggest to just satchel charge into the site and open it up as well to find that information. So it's very well done. They're going to continue to activate him that way.
Yeah, huge pressure coming in on towards the A short position again here for NUTURN. They're playing very slow, trying to see if Sentinels are going to do something at the early timings of the round. And normally we would see Showers control for NUTURN, but they've actually opted not to go for that. And Sentinels are actually pushing Showers and they see nothing. So this is actually going to convince them, possibly, that, hang on, there's nothing going on towards A. They haven't seen anything here for a while. They've got Showers control. Why would NUTURN still be here?
And they still have to default right now for Sentinels, because again, another recon dart meanwhile went towards B. But here's the explosion towards the A site. Oh, that's a beautiful flash there coming in to allow Suggest to get the kill on Zoms.
Fantastic coordination and team play coming through here, indeed, for NUTURN. Two players on Shower side for Sentinels, though, and you can... Oh, what a call from NUTURN. There is 10 still to worry about on the site. They can deal with 10s. They're in a great position. There comes the spray through. That's good to deal with 10s. The recon dart sent forward as well to try to take control of the B site. And there's problems all across the map at the moment. It's indeed the spike is on the ground by the TP, and it's being sat on right now. NUTURN have no way to recover it. Lackey is going to go down, and it was a great idea to readjust, knowing that there's two players still Shower's side, but did not work out in the end for NUTURN.
Correct. So as we were talking about that recon dart that was thrown out by Shazam towards that fountain side, I don't even think it saw that player from NUTURN at long B. So for NUTURN, they were still playing a slow, defaulty kind of pace, trying to fake, not only get a fake, but a kill on top of that, and force the hand through teleporter to eventually end up inside B. But the fact that, unfortunately for NUTURN, it's a similar story than that pistol round. They dropped the spike, unfortunately, in the teleporter, just very hard to recuperate in the end, and they fall short just because of that. But at least they still have a lot of economy. And we're going back to this defaulty kind of thing now, finally, for NUTURN, where it's a standard boom bot clear out towards hookah, trying to see somebody's playing close inside the area. You see that they're also setting up for a flash and also a fault line to allow Suggest to get into hookah at the same time to gain early map control. But then after that, the spike's still down, though. They're still trying to see if Sentinels are going to try to play that hand where sometimes they want to push forward, but Sentinels are not. They still have that 3 players on that A site, 2 towards B, and just a utility from Astra is going to be good enough to try to hold them back.
There's a lot of really great small details there from NUTURN that I'm enjoying, but it looks like we're actually going to get the execute into this A site. The Rolling Thunder is sent through, allowed tries to gain U-Haul control. Sentinels holding their ground so far. Suggest trying to stop that with the Showstopper. He's going to trade out Zoms, but it's all on Lakia now against multiple players. It's not going to happen. Sentinels defend 4-2 now, the score in favor of Sentinels with that defense. Man, there are so many small things though that NUTURN are doing well, but yeah, it's tough, man. It's,
you know, they're using that utility to try to force out maybe some players in the beginning by the amount of stuff that was thrown from Suggest inside hookah. But the default back, try to take control close into Showers. It was a nice paranoia, a self-play from Perry to try to come out and win Showers, but somehow Shazam, sorry, not Shazam, but TenZ is towards that Shower side. So Shazam is playing towards B, Shazam's playing TenZ is playing towards B, TenZ is playing towards A. He catches them all the time. He's that first blood coming in for the team right now, so very well read at the same time for Sentinels. It's some nice stuff from NUTURN, but it's always one step ahead for Shazam and company.
We have that Viper's pit dropped on short A right now, and NUTURN aren't messing with it whatsoever, just fully committing towards this B side so far. See, the Astra utility is ready and waiting to defend this B site. Question is, will NUTURN go back? They certainly can, and they certainly have the utility to deal with Dapper in that Viper's pit.
Correct. Lakia still has his Owl drone if they decide to fall back, so if they could waste out the utility out here. So he starts with shock darts just to add presence. That paranoia is going to be huge, but it still seems that they might want to commit at the beginning here.
Whoa, great catch from Shazam, taking down Allow as he dashes forward. NUTURN trying to take this B side now, trying to commit forwards, but Zoms is now the person to deal with here. On the Astra, fantastic stuff there from Zoms. Gets 2 kills out of it. But through the TP they'll go right now. Already suggests that. Solo's still hanging out by Market. Is going to find himself one sick, using the satchel to try to get backed away quickly. Knows that it's effectively a race to this site. Still has the paint shells. Still has the satchel. Can Sick find the first player? Yes, he can. There goes Lakia. A right click on the paint shell. Sick nails the clutch. 1v2, no problem at all for him. And there's the defuse as well. Sentinels now 5-2.
That's just very nicely played for Sick at the same time as well. You did say here, Dan, that he had the paint shells, but he didn't want to use it right away. He knew that with about 15 seconds left, they might want to commit towards the A site or even go for a straight TP into B, which they still had time to do for NUTURN. But to just let them plant, to push aggressively, and just to try to catch the first one off guard, knowing that it's going to be a 1 versus 1 no matter what here on this first contact, lobbing that underhand paint shells, forcing Solo out in an area where he has to play back instead of moving forward because of the radius of the paint shells, was just superbly nicely played by Sick to be able to clutch that 2 versus 1, a Red Bull clutch on top of that. This round, NUTURN, it's going to be a force buy coming in, or maybe a half buy, but it's going to be the Blade Storm. So we talked about how they didn't have that much showers control. It's changed this time for NUTURN. They see that there hasn't been a lot going around here towards this shower side. They could maybe commit to it finally, and they open it up with the first kill.
Yeah, Sentinels will hold on to the showers controller with Sick. It actually has the showstopper available as well if he wants to use that, but it is an eco, so might want to try and see if he can hold on to it, but with the fact that they are down a player, it does start to feel quite scary. Ooh, the timing of that one, Sick comes off the angle just at the wrong moment and is forced away.
And that's already
cutting noise.
Exactly. They're cutting noise, but they're still trying to, again, try to get a pick towards this B side. They could sell a fake in a rotation, but they're still going to work out towards this showers. And that pick was huge. Look how back now Sick is playing. He's playing all the way towards spawn so he can try to rotate faster, and the timing just off that. They might be able to take this A site now for NUTURN.
Picked up the gun there towards showers as well. Sick with the spray, takes them both down. Allows trying to get spacing to trade Solo, but walks into the spray, unfortunately for NUTURN. Still a 3, well, make that a 3v2 now in favor of Sentinels. 20 seconds to go. They've got to collect the spike. You can see Suggest on his way to do so. Has to ferry that across now to the site to plant. Very limited time here. Sick might be, he's going to satchel through. Oh, he's actually insane. There's the showstopper as well to just seal the deal. Is there time? There's no bodies left alive to carry that spike forward. It's going to be another round in the bag for Sentinels.
Sick has been fundamental there on that hold, on that previous round. Just, again, it was a close shot that he missed from shower side towards the spawn side at the same time with the attacker spawn, but this one right here, just the spacing was a little bit off this time for NUTURN. They were looking for that fight for Sick. He's using that cover perfectly in front of the APC to even still get a wall bang on top of that. You mentioned that showstopper at the beginning of the round that he'd use. It was a perfect time for him to hold it back into the final seconds to make sure that he gets his kill here. And it's not too bad, right? It's a 4 versus 2. I don't believe that it's wasted because now you're in round number 9. With the way that Sick's playing, the way that he's holding down towards this A side, and also from time to time where he fights towards the showers. Look at the minimap. They're pinging it already. They're putting some stars. They're putting some control from Zoms at this area where potentially you still want to farm these orbs up from Sick's side. So Sentinels are playing this quite well here where NUTURN, I know they're trying to force these rotations out. They're trying to force the hand, but they're not getting too much out of it so far since these gun rounds came in.
And one quick note as we are here in this tactical timeout from NUTURN is, regionally speaking, the difference in, the whole Vandal versus Phantom debate definitely seems to be that the Vandal's a little bit more popular in Korea than the Phantom, which is definitely, that's in North America, it's Phantom or bust, I feel like.
Oh, man, it depends on the maps. I think for me, I'm both. On a map like Bind, I do love playing the Vandal at the same time, especially on defense. I like playing the headshot from the back of the site to battle out towards hookah area. But then again, this is only diamond play, right? So it's easier picks. At the same time, at pro level, I did see some tweets or some opinions come out that even on LAN, the Vandal's been looking pretty crispy. So I do see why Suggest and Lakia are kind of using it, right? You see how clutch they've been in the past games. Suggest continues the high percentage of the headshots the way he's playing. Lakia with the clutches that he's had versus version 1, it's been pretty good for them. So I'm not against this mix that they currently have in terms of the rifling for NUTURN. But with now the pause coming back, you see a lot of bodies from NUTURN looking to get this showers control, or sorry, the hookah control once again. Great delay from Dapper actually with that. Snakebite.
Yeah, and the pressure on Hookah is pretty strong for NUTURN this time, actually showing presence directly. They're not just utility, but players. And they have also Perry on the Omen sitting at short A in case Sentinels respond by pushing short, as Dapper sometimes plays closer around that position. Nothing doing, though, for Sentinels around that spot, so Perry's going to rejoin the rest of his teammates, which definitely suggests to us this is going to be a committed play here onto this B site. But Sentinels looking ready for it.
Yeah, you have Dapper once again. He could slow things down with everything. His whole kit still has a snake bite to run that clock down. It's going to be a last-second hold, but it's off solo that they try to execute into B again for NUTURN.
Dapper somehow avoiding absolutely everybody on the site, only to turn around and annihilate 3 players. Dapper might get the 4th here. Lakia's going to take down both actually on the site. 30 seconds to go. Grabs the spike. He's out of there. Straight through the TP towards that A side to go for a clutch, a 1v2. There's going to be time to do this. And given the Cosmic Divide, that's actually prevented the sound cues. And Lakia, he may be able to find a 1v1 here. Soms is close. Lakia turns the corner, but Soms knows he's got a great timing on that one. The off angle does it, and Lakia's down. Another round in the bag for Sentinels.
And they were ready, Dan. You mentioned it, not only for Dapper inside that site, but the fact that he also had 2 more players, one at elbow, one in the back of the site too, just to trade off if needed. But you don't need to trade out if Dapper is going to go ham like that. And not only that, yes, it did execute quite well for NUTURN, I like to say. Solo going with the fault line to allow then to bring the Hunter's Fury. It did get a tag actually onto one of the members of Sentinels inside that site. But when Dapper pulls up the utility, the Toxic Screen and the Viper Cloud, you're already coming in with Decay on top of that, so you're melting down, getting into the site. So anchoring a Viper currently for Sentinels towards this B site, when we usually commend how Viper plays on A side showers, it's been quite strong for Sentinels so far, and they don't want to change things out. It's going to be very similar setups every time for Sentinels because it's working. You want to play your own play style, you don't need to adapt too much for Sentinels, so now you're playing your own game and you're still winning these rounds. Why try to fix things, right?
Yeah, and here goes the Rolling Thunder execution on this A site. Hunter's Fury in response to Jess there with that showstopper, able to take down one. That's U-Haul control in the bag, and finishing another one off with the classic. This is a great look so far from NUTURN. They've got full control of the site. It's a desperate push from Dapper through the dark cover. And with that, now it's a 2 versus 4 retake here for Sentinels. It's not looking fantastic for them at all. Tens will try to bully his way forward, but that Drain's going to tag him and he's going to be forced back. This is a very bad look indeed for Shazam and Tens as they make their way forward. NUTURN not overstepping, not overplaying their positions. Nice headshot angle there from Solo. Catches Shazam as he drops down. And now Tens will try to farm with the Reyna. Won't be able to defuse the spike at this point, but maybe he can make it hurt on the way down.
Oh, it's looking that way. Ooh. What?
Okay, just 2 extra kills ultimately, but that's pretty decent.
I agree, because at the same time, you saw, yes, it was a 4 versus 2. Technically unwinnable here for Sentinels, although we know the players that we have on paper for this roster, but you're just trying to make things expensive this time for NUTURN, because you know they've been on these force buys. You know they've been on the half buys too, that they're just trying to string as many rounds as they can on the attack. And on the side of Sentinels, look at the history. They've won 5 rounds in a row. The economy's still very good, so you're just trying to make things and chip down the economy down on NUTURN's side. Look at that. They won the round and they still come out with 3 Spectres only. But they are fighting strong for NUTURN inside the showers, and it's been denied by the Gravity Well and Pain Shells to come out from Sig just to push them further back.
Yeah, great movement there from Sentinels to deny that. NUTURN, I think, you know, they're in a position now where they need some control of something. They don't have hookah control, they don't have the long, they don't have showers. They really need something to come back into their control here. And it looks like Sentinels are never giving up showers. It's going to require a pretty big investment for NUTURN to take this away. NUTURN aren't just holding though, they're just waiting it out so far.
Yeah. They still have the paint shells coming out. They're waiting for the recon to come out for Lucky at the same time too. Looks like it's just been used inside showers just so they can take a push, allow up here. So they have regained control a bit off not much utility after the initial fights towards showers. So this is actually pretty good for them to try to creep up. But looking at it from this minimap, looking to be another slow default for NUTURN. Try to force out a rotation with this dark cover inside the B side. Dapper's already making his way there after the snake bite. But after a 3-player stack still towards this A side, it's going to be very difficult. And we see something very similar for NUTURN again. A fault line, and Alau's probably going to try to come in after a flash.
Yeah, great off angle here from TenZ as well. He's going to catch Alau. Perfect timing from TenZ as he reads the situation beautifully well. And he's looking to get more here, but NUTURN actually able to convert some frags. Sick! Still doing damage from Uhorse up to Solo, and he's just too slow for that one. Dapper swings around the side with the Spectre to close things out in this round. Another one here for Sentinels.
Very well played there with that stack. And my apologies, when I was talking about the 3 Spectres, I had my teams messed up, actually. So it was actually a buy coming in from Sentinels at that point, too, and putting those numbers in for Sentinels did work quite well on the back of how Sick has been playing towards this U-shaped hallway. So with that, the run and gun, very strong for that Spectre close range here. And the Sentinels are just capitalizing on these rounds. I'd like to see a little bit more right now from NUTURN of just like maybe exploding into these sites. Playing these defaults have been working a little bit here just to at least get the spike down, but they're losing a lot of bodies right now at the same time when they're trying to force these rotations out. I think, again, leveraging how Solo plays with his utility to enable maybe a double duelist to get into the sites, they could come out with something on top later on.
On the Viper's Pit on A short again from Dapper. Previously, when Dapper did this, NUTURN just went for a full B play, just a split B, and it was just pretty straightforward. I wonder if we'll see something different here, because we do have showers control here for NUTURN. Will they just try to go around Dapper, or will they try to go through him? There are 2 players still around B, which may try to sell something. Perry's there as well, so 3 around B here for NUTURN. There's the Hunter's Fury. It's going to track Zoms. Is he going to finish this one off? Absolutely. Zoms is down. Lakia! What damage from him. 2 quick kills opening this one up. And now Alau's made his way in from showers. It's just devolved into pure chaos here in this round. Dapper could be the man to maybe bring some sense of this one. Able to take down Solo, but the trade's through.
Spike down A.
And now TenZ is alone, so very odd round, I have to say, but it works out nicely for NUTURN.
Yeah. We were talking about the default force to rotate. I think off that Hunter's Fury, and even on top of that, I like the idea of Shazam pushing down towards long B to try to catch Lakia off guard when he's actually pulling out the Hunter's Fury. But to be able to get a flick shot, it was definitely off camera, but probably was a flick shot coming in from Lakia. That was actually just a call for NUTURN, just to try to get into this A site. It all came down to Dapper at the same time, but to be able to have good positioning from Alau and from Solo to trade that off right away and secure the round on a low buy, it's at least something that's positive to end the half for NUTURN.
Yeah, this is a great result, man. Such a good defense there from Lakia. Able to catch the punish attempt. And 4 rounds, it's definitely workable. And again, something that's been so fun in the past to watch from NUTURN and teams like Vision Strikers and teams from this region is what they're able to do with a breach on the defense. Flashing the jet in. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and we might see something like that here towards long on B.
Especially when it's 2 players out there, right? It's not only going to be Alau, there's potentially coming it down with Suggest at the same time, but Zoms is waiting for it. So they didn't go for a flash. They played for a contact. They're playing for a lot of bodies. Super passive play for Sentinels, and they know that the A site's weak now. Dapper's already inside the A site.
They're not sure if Uhor's under control, though. They will slowly try to clear things, but NUTURN actually still towards Fountain here on B, so they still have a ways to go.
Oh, they're gonna.
So this might go down to the last second here, Vansily.
Yeah, but it's just going to be so many bodies watching that fight. They might be able to catch Zoms. Okay, he was able to come out of faster form just on time. So a perfect crossfire setup towards short A here, Den.
Uh-oh, it's looking very dangerous here for Shazam. sending out the shock darts. The snakebite will delay things somewhat. The fault line and the paint shells absolutely own. There's nothing he can do about that. Tens and Dapper left standing, doing the damage here. They don't know about Tens, and he's going to be able to heal off of that kill and finish the job. Sentinels closing it down. NUTURN, they were off to a great start there, but Sentinels right now are the team that just seem to be closing time and again.
Yes, it's just difficult there for NUTURN. Yes, they had the numbers advantage, or at least a lot of bodies to set up for these trades, but when you're playing with less information of what's happening inside the site, you've already lost your Sova as you're rotating across. You're just trying to go for these peaks, and sometimes you're guessing a 50, you're guessing the wrong angle. Tens is waiting there. Sentinels had a perfect crossfire setup on the first get-go, but still having Tens as the third player anchoring from the U-shaped hallway after the pulse plant has just been a little bit easier there for Sentinels to guarantee that round. Beginning of this round, though, there's been a lot of utility being thrown from Sentinels inside that Showers. Gravity well in the recon dart, and that forces two players of NUTURN to just stick down towards Shower. So they're not playing with too much information to push it down towards Sands, though. And it's going to be, actually, sorry, it's Sig going back. So it's just going to be a slow play for Sentinels right after that.
The A-short push comes through, though. Dapper's waiting for a beautiful angle on this one. Oh, actually gets spotted, and they might be able to finish him off here, and that would be a great result. He is proving to be quite troublesome, and Tens is there for support, so NUTURN will get cleaned up after all is said and done. 10-4 now, Sentinels with quite a nice lead. But we will be going into the first buy rounds here for NUTURN, and so this is where the comeback starts. If there is to be one, it needs to get started right here.
So twice that NUTURN tried to go with the contact play with the pistols. First time on long B, second time just to try to see if they could run for a double peek down towards short A, but super passive play from Sentinels after the initial utility that was thrown towards Shower's side to really funnel them towards trying to get information elsewhere, and they were greeted by Tens with that Bulldog. Early jump peek coming out from Lakia just to see if there's going to be any presence there. They hear the boombot coming out from Sick, though. And Sentinels are looking to gain the early map control on this split, but Dapper lurking on his side at short A.
Yeah, Dapper's pretty deep here. He's going to actually just dip completely through the TP. He'll go. NUTURN quite well set up here to defend the B sides. Solo baiting for Allow there. Scary position to be in, but as Jet definitely answers. A nice splash coming through from Solo. Lakia spots the second one. Big pickup though. Allow will finally go down in hookah, and the push comes through to completion on this B site, especially with Lakia going down. And again, it looks good at the offset for NUTURN, but quickly turns around.
I just love it for Sentinels here, Dan. They don't want to give NUTURN any type of pacing early at the beginning of the round. It was perfect to start things off with the flash to allow Lakia to get that kill, but as soon as they lose a player for Sentinels at long B, they double swing into hookah to overpower Allow and just open up the B side after that. So you're losing a player towards long B for the defense. Solo's by himself here towards the B side as well, and Sentinels just plays a numbers advantage. And unfortunately here for Suggest, it is going to be a save for him, and Sentinels will be moving up to an 11th round. And it looked good at the beginning, but they still don't have an answer when Sentinels actually execute into the site. And you still have to be careful for Dapper, though. The way that he's continuing to lurk like that, they're controlling the pace quite well.
Yeah, definitely. And it was an interesting approach, too, seeing that they sort of split the defense across hookah and long, and really relying on the breach utility to allow a good defensive option. But yeah, just look at how Sentinels just come through so methodical on their push. When they decide to go in, they are looking really strong.
Just going to continue to condition now some early presence from Sick from this sand side into hookah. A little bit of a change though for NUTURN. You're playing now breach inside the hookah area. A 3-player stack from NUTURN on the A site. But still, with what's being thrown at the beginning here for NUTURN, they don't get that much information out of that.
Sick just holding position there. Meanwhile, Suggest has managed to win the battle towards A short. Dapper had been getting pretty aggressive there. And we might see Sentinels now down to 4 players start to group up. Sick is making his presence known towards B long, so definitely the option to go onto this B site shortly here for Sentinels. In fact, Sick is going to creep up. He's just going to contact his way through. And he might find his way backside. Oh my god, he's going all of the way here. Sick with an extremely forward position. They have no idea about this one. How deep will he go? Is he going to try to actually get into spawn? He's going into spawn. He's going all the way. Solo, though, from up top, from up high, and Hookah able to deal with Zoms, at least. It's very odd. Sick still in spawn. They have no idea.
No
or
way.
Perry. Well, now they know. And there goes Lakia. Is he actually going to be able to get the stick here? Sick's coming. He's going to have to do his best to get there in time. I don't know if he can make it, though. Lakia has almost defused it entirely, and there it is. There's nothing that Sick can do. What a strange round. Players in all kinds of weird positions.
Yeah, it seems as though Sick was doing pretty much what Solo was doing on that first half, right? Just creeping up towards that long side, and you see that Solo the same way that Dapper kind of played inside that hookah. They kind of just wanted to leave it behind and play the retake later on, and using that judge as they did. Both players having that judge inside that hookah in that round. They just wanted to make sure somebody's going to split towards the sand side for the opponent's side. They could stop it. But as he turns around to be able to get the backstab onto Sentinels with the classic kill, it shows that Sentinels, yes, they got the ground before inside the spawnway, but they actually should have checked the back inside hookah, knowing that somebody should be playing there eventually. But this round here, Gravity well. Yeah, it's an early long B control, some DK or some debuff happening at the same time as Lakia gets pulled into Gravity well. But look at this aggressive push out hookah here, Dan.
Yeah, there it goes to the showstopper. That's going to deal with Solo. And in comes Lakia to try to do something here, but the timing is really bad for NUTURN on this one. Sentinels picked a perfect moment. Very well played.
Planted.
Perry in the back halls there would suggest not a lot to be done at the moment, especially with the smokes down. But yeah, that gravity well, it completely blew up the NUTURN's aggression on long. And because of that, they were then just caught in a really awkward timing. So especially those Astra gravity wells, man, they're something to deal with.
They've definitely been quite strong because at the same time too, you're showing a body down towards that long B, so you think there's going to be a little bit more presence there, so you're still fighting for NUTURN. Again, Sentinels down long B, but Hookah was left out open. So to have Sick come in with the showstopper to open things up, knowing that the gravity well, knowing that there was presence there too from Lakia on that initial battle, then it's just an easier kill coming in through. With what, 3 players I think that came out towards that hookah side. Definitely hard to hold there for NUTURN on the defense. And unfortunately, this now puts Sentinel at map point in the series.
Yep, they're in a great position here to clinch the first map. Take it away from NUTURN in this best of 3 series. And we get a tactical timeout coming from a NUTURN. Definitely wise. If you have it, you're in a difficult spot. Definitely a good chance, or a good time to use it, I should say. The question is really, what would they want to change? Because these gravity wells are really difficult in terms of, because NUTURN wants to get aggressive right at the get-go, but the gravity wells just blow it up, really.
And they've done it with just Solo playing with the flashpoints to have Lakia peek out right after. But when that happens and you're being pulled in by the gravity well, you can't really get out and get that early surprise attack. So I think you're going to have to force the hand and play a little bit more passively at this point. But if you're playing more passively, Sentinels has done a great job just to be on the set executes to just overtake the site. The retakes have been working as well either. And I think this is the second tactical timeout that NUTURN's used, right? So they don't have any more left for the map. So you don't only need to focus into this round of course, you have to focus into this round because losing this round, you lose the map, but you have to also think 2 or 3 rounds ahead. How can you now start anti-stratting, understanding how Sentinels currently plays? And outside of those gravity wells towards long B, that's just one of the hands that's being shown by Sentinels. They didn't need to show that much on their attack side either. So maybe try to eliminate Dapper. They've done a good job so far playing that short A side and eliminate Dapper's lurk. But right after that is how to readjust after for NUTURN again. You might have the numbers advantage to play that retake after finally.
But one thing that's NUTURN have to their advantage here is also the Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury, both available, and there's no ults available for Sentinels. So that could be one of the ways in which they get back here. It's just about figuring out a way to get into a setup where you can use both of those effectively. And Sentinels are going to be spreading out. In fact, we're going to get a very early Hunter's Fury coming through. Trying to hide it by starting it low and then bringing it up. Zoms will evade the killing blow of the Hunter's Fury. But that is some early information, at least, for NUTURN.
But unfortunately, it's already being surrendered with this Aldron going back towards Hookah, right? So you did get a ping onto Zoms, but after that, now you're falling back into site. You're trying to re-aggress, but as that Aldron comes up, you had Sick walk in, and that's an early kill, a great way to start things off for Sentinels. It's evened up on a 4-4 right after, though, but Sentinels are still looking to team up and work towards his B site.
So Jess is actually making his way over as well. Might find a timing. Has the Vandal too. Going to be key in converting the kills here and holding Hookah, which he will do successfully. Allow comes in, out the TP. Dapper with the trade though, and that is the spike. Recoverable there for Dapper. He'll grab that one and ferry it back to safety. Back to TenZ, to the A site. But the question is, where is the A site player? I think TenZ has somewhat of a read here. TenZ is going forward and clearing showers, but Perry's walking all the way around. Perry could catch a perfect timing here onto Dapper. Oh, it was close. Paranoia comes through. He knows he can dive through the snake bite. He knows that the time pressure is on here for Sentinels. Dapper has to go forward and plant the spike. Suggest could make a play to try to deny it. And there is the peak from TenZ. It's up to Perry in the 1v2 to keep NUTURN alive in this map. It might be overhead just here unless Perry can come up with something. And we'll hear the stepping that Perry's making. They will have a read of his position. Perry using the time that he has. Has to walk through the toxic screen. It doesn't feel good here for Perry. I think it's fully fueled up as well. Bleeding all the time from the clock of Sentinels until finally TenZ will finish off Perry.
Years old as well. We always talk about one boomer. There's two boomers in there for NUTURN, and they have the experience to guide the young fraggers of Allow, Lakia, and Perry to come back into this game. So I think they're good to shake out that first map away. You didn't see the jitters. You didn't see the nervousness going on into the player camps before we see the agent composition right now for NUTURN. So you see it right now on their end. Still, no switches coming through. They still want to play solo as that breach initiator for this double play that they have. And they've been good at it, actually, on these set plays to work towards at least the long C executions. I love the flashers from solo and Allow from corner of long C all the way into side default boxes to get into there. But the thing that's been difficult for all of the teams facing against Sentinels at the beginning on this map is just how TenZ was able to move around with that operator as Jet on the A side. They had to find a way to stop him, and I think, again, the fault lines that have been key for solo on that first map and for NUTURN could definitely be detrimental onto how TenZ could set up as Sentinels on this A side, or at least on this A side to start, as they're looking for control here for Sentinels at the choke point area. It won't spot anything, so they might be able to rotate one player back.
Both NUTURN and Sentinels feeling one another out in the early moments here on Haven. You can see that's, I mean, we've seen this from Sentinels so far this tournament. They do often like to opt into just playing quite a passive opening just to really allow their opponents, well, allow themselves time to see what their opponents want to do, but also at the same time, not really showing any weaknesses or opportunities for their opponents.
It could get dangerous here, Dan. They're looking to work towards the C site, and I think one thing that could really stop him is how Dapper's setting things up. The camera's perfect to watch that cubby. It spots Perry, who's currently also carrying that spike. And if they're actually trying to dash into the site, they have a trapwire right next to default. So if Allow dashes in, yes, he's going to be safe, but if he's going to try to circle around the default, it's not going to work. But look at this. They're falling back to try to sell a fake towards this A side because Perry stays inside this corner. So up to Solo and also up to Lakia. They throw the first fault line. It forces actually Shazam to rotate towards the A side, but the hit is still going to happen towards C.
Yeah, I love this from NUTURN. Really trying to big brain Sentinels here, but there comes the flash, and Sentinels now know exactly what's going on. 6 deep, he's in the cage actually. He's gonna have to try to pick. Oh my god, Sick is nuts! Great shot there, and that's going to eliminate most of these entry fraggers here for NUTURN. 7 seconds to go, they've got to plant the spike. They've got to start planting the spike, there's no time. Zoms, he's done it. The round is impossible to win now, there's just no time. and Sentinels will pick it up despite a few extra kills coming in late here for NUTURN.
Wow. Well, I guess that's a silver lining, right? They get no spike plant for NUTURN. Solo gets 4 kills and a death. That means he's already 2 away from a Rolling Thunder. And if you have the math correctly, technically NUTURN, if they want to go for a buy into the 3rd round, then they also have a great Rolling Thunder to execute into the site, which is what you see them right now with their economy. They're not spending that much. They have Solo with the Sheriff, and that's pretty much it. So battling for an orb to get ready into the next round when they have weapons could be actually key for the next round.
And no force buy this time from NUTURN. Mackie just hopping up, looking to get in towards B. Well, he destroyed a tripwire for his troubles, at least. Oh,
wow.
Hello.
Okay.
Nice catch. Oh, speaking of a good catch, Solos. Gonna take down Zoms as well. There's only 3 players left now for Sentinel.
Oh, no.
This is getting quite awkward. They have to get the spike, though, and it's actually back window, which is precisely where TenZ is. TenZ could still save this round. He spotted the spike. Oh, my goodness. Well, there goes Perry, and he's lit up Allow. Like, Allow can't really fight TenZ at all, and TenZ knows it. He's going to finish him off.
At least Perry got the kill before he died, right? So that actually puts TenZ on his own. It's a 2 versus 1, but TenZ could definitely be the clutcher. Oh, look at that.
Oh, the Rolling Thunder. He loves to see it. He actually he's going to use the Rolling Thunder there. I love that. I love it.
That was just off 2 kills that Solo needed, right? Because we said he was 2 ult points away from getting that ult. So to lurk inside that B site to get the first kill, pick up the Spectre and the second one, and to invest into the Rolling Thunder, I thought it was going to be going into the 3rd round. But screw it. We're using it right away to just make sure that we secure this round and potentially put here the eco for Team Sentinels. So I think it was beautifully played here for NUTURN just by these entries that we've gotten from the practice of the shares that these players have for the Korean players.
The fact that TenZ almost dodged that too with a dash, that would have been quite amusing, but it is Sentinels on this Marshall on 10, so it's, just the eco here for them.
Yeah.
Managed to get a couple of shields as well. Again, gotta prevent TenZ from getting any value early in the rounds.
Sentinels seems to be reading. Exactly. They seem to be reading some sort of presence towards the A side. So they start with an early stack on this A side. You do have Sick that's kind of like holding an off angle towards Sewers right away. So that if he does come into contact, probably some Nebulas will come up right away to try to to run the clock down for Sentinels defense.
Ooh, Sick is punished. And they're going to rotate off of this. I like it. 40 seconds, so like a good amount of time to go. And so far, Sentinels have been relying on Dapper with the camera, as you can see on the mini-map, to just hold things down towards C-Long, get that information. And I like the Solos moving towards B. This is actually so interesting. The Sentinels are actually expecting a fake. Dapper will catch one with the shorty, but of course, as you can see, there's just such a long rotation. Solo's already there to try to cut some of this off. And he might find a quick one. So far, so good here for NUTURN.
Enemy remaining.
Love it. So with that pick to lurk already inside that B side, trying to cut rotations like you mentioned, Deb, but not only that, when he actually missed the first few shots against Zoms, he still just left the defender spawn because they already had control of map, post plant. They have more bodies that can move up to. He doesn't need to help out his teammate inside that site. He just wants to make sure that he wins that 1 versus 1 against Zoms and have less bodies for Sentinels, less chances for Sentinels for a body retake into the C site. And we saw a beautiful display of NUTURN just running down that map, right? Trying to create that diversions, trying to force the rotations, and running back towards that C side. It's something definitely night and day from their bind play, where it was static on a default to try to figure out Sentinels. But so far, it's been going pretty well to control the map at the beginning for the attacker side. And speaking about controlling the map, they're controlling a default once again, as I mentioned that. But on Sentinel's side, they haven't found the information, though.
They each put a knife in each other. That's beautiful. This is an anime battle waiting to happen. Let's see if TenZ can give it to us. Ready with the knives. Goes another one. It's running low on those. Hunter's Fury comes through. Oh, this is a fantastic Hunter's Fury. Lakia is completely gone. In fact, I think it gets a double off of that. Such a smart read. Ten's got the information, knowing they grouped up in A lobby. It's hard to dodge that Hunter's Fury if you're shooting it from the right place. Ten still has the Blade Storm. It's still a problem. And the dash too.
Yeah,
NUTURN are really just burning the clock.
30 seconds left.
Perry's managed to creep into the B side meanwhile. But there's the spike. I mean, Perry can do whatever he wants towards B, but the spike is lost. Lau's not going to be able to get there in time, really. Able to take down one, but it's a quick 180 to deal with Shazam. Too much to ask, as Sentinels will equalize the score 2-2.
Definitely something very similar that NUTURN was trying to do, right? With less numbers, but still trying to have somebody to try to take B control, force off the rotations, and then as finally Perry takes a bit of control towards the B side, they try to activate for NUTURN on the A side split. But again, when you have less numbers, it's one body on sewers, one body on long. You're coming up head-to-head against Tens, where he misses, he could always dash away. It was very dangerous from the get-go. I mean, Shazam's been very good for these Hunter's Furies without the information, right? The blind Hunter's Fury to try to fight back towards the short A choke has been good. But this time, you saw the flash come out, you saw a recon dart, you've already forced it away. Allow moves up, but it's a perfect flash from Sig.
Yeah, early victory here for Sentinels, and a pretty big issue for NUTURN. They're going to have to commit towards C, it looks like, pretty quickly here, because they've given up all their information on the map. Losing a player early. They'll pick up the pace here into Tens. The drone is going to tag Tens. That's a big win. The flash comes through. The paranoia comes through as well. They've got to convert off of this, though. Lakia takes down Dapper. Tens still there in the cloud burst. He wanted that no-scope, but he gets denied by Lakia. And in goes Sick in between all of them. What can he find here? Zoms will be the one to get Lakia, and the running back is cancelled out. So still a fight, a desperate fight over this C site. Spike is now down on the ground as Zoms is ready for Suggest crab walk there, and it's up to Perry in the 1v2. Fantastic first engagement. Second player, another flick. It's too much. Just what a crazy brawl on that C side. It will be Sentinels again coming out on top just by one player.
I actually like the flashes that are being thrown from NUTURN here, Dan, because the standard way, usually when you see an Omen inside that C choke and he throws that paranoia into the side of the logs, at the same time, though, you have some great flashes being thrown by Solo just by the same spot at logs 2 to flash the default in the back. Because sometimes if you want to put a smoke towards default, it gets covered up. So it just allows NUTURN to get it into the sides, but to leave it into a 1 versus 1, a clutch play potential here for Perry, it shows just like even losing the numbers in the beginning for Sentinels, they still have some great players that just off pure skill could turn it back around. But look at Tens' position. He's in a great spot for a 2K.
And there it is, effortless there from Tens. Picks up both. Looks like everything's being defended quite nicely here by Sentinels. It's just Sheriff, so you can see that NUTURN are really trying to take some risks there, trying to force some engagements. They managed to do an okay job. They killed Sig.
Yeah.
And just Tens is just Tens, so...
Yeah, and at this point, you're trying to figure out how you can stop them, right? And I do like the little change that you see from Sentinels at this point, because they're starting to see a little bit more pressure from NUTURN towards this A side. We talked about the fault line, we talked about the flashes, trying to get allowed to move forward, and this time we didn't even allow. I was trying to find a different word, but just off the spot. He couldn't pass out the A choke. So nice little variation here from Sentinels that forces NUTURN to just rethink how they want to take control of the A side again. And it starts off with the Allo drone. It pushes Shazam's back, where he's playing the A side by himself, and off the boom bot at the same time, it's looking to be a heavy hit towards the A side.
And the showstopper's going to come out here for Suggest as well to try to entry into the A sites. Oh, he's going to find... Oof. It looked like he could have gotten the catch there on the player in heaven, but they'll still get the spike planted. Meanwhile, though, Sentinels are coordinating for a retake. The Cosmic Divide goes down as well. That's going to really cripple the hold here for NUTURN. Six going to drop with his curveball. It's a labored spray, but he'll catch the kill. And that just leaves two players here. Solo takes one with him. I mean, Lakia has Hunter's Fury, but I don't know that you want to get this, and the flick is pretty quick there from Lakia, but still just too much to handle. And Sentinels begin to pull away again.
That was just a beautiful retake there from Sentinels, because not only the Cosmic Divide, it allows Sentinels to get into the site, but combining it with the Gravity Well at that default. After a plant, you're sticking around that area as a plant carrier, the plant spiker, you're trying to watch that window side, you get pulled away and immediately headshot it from Heaven's side. And then that allows Sick to also throw the curveball down the window towards Hell, and just drops for a solo play to get that kill. It's been very difficult for NUTURN to set up a crossfire on that pulse plant, and Sentinels does a great job out of that. And because of that, this puts NUTURN on a lower buy. Looks like they're forcing up here with a Spectre and a couple of chairs, but they've worked their abilities and have worked their ultimates with this before. And now that they have 3 of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to try to get something done here towards eventually potentially a B site.
Yeah, some early presence there towards A. Solo, in fact, is going to just push all the way down A short. Oh, Zoms, so ready for it. I mean, they have done this a couple of times, NUTURN. They do like to try to walk into B, especially when they're on these low buys. So at this point, it seems like Zoms has a lot of anticipation for that. And Tens, he smells weakness, and he'll pounce. 3 versus 4. And they're going to be running into Shazam. Yeah, this could actually be an opportunity. The Astra Star comes in though, and that should help protect Shazam. That can be that can go down as a smoke, and that will allow Shazam to cross back to safety. That said though, maybe there is no safety. He's going to have to fight his way out of there. Well, he's Shazam. He's going to do just that. Great result there with that Phantom, and he seems like he'll be able to hold this one off by himself.
20 seconds left. You've gotten 2 kills. You've upgraded into a Phantom. Are you going to try to hurt more economy or just try to go to save this weapon? Looks to be the first part. Looking to do some damage here towards the A side. He's now spotted from Heaven. Unfortunately, Zoms goes for the kill, so not much more than that, but at least the Bladestorm is ready into the next round. And I kind of like this play, actually, from how Sentinels readapted towards this play from NUTURN. Because on these pistol rounds, it's quite common to maybe try to hit towards that B side, especially sometimes when you have a Sage in your composition, you wall up, you want to try to plant towards B. But they're just looking for something to get these openers with their shares, get into close range battles with the shares to guarantee a one-shot to the dome. But it's been heavily countered just from an off position from Zoms there inside that B site. So with that, though, NUTURN looking for a fast push inside the sewers because of these knives, and they open it up onto Tens.
That is glorious there from NUTURN. That's the stuff we're looking to see. Breach, flash, jet dash into a headshot. NUTURN now 5v4 early on. They've stolen away the operator as well onto Allow. Allow's actually working into... Oh, God, it's very close. I don't know if there's a dash available, but looks like Allow will be able to dodge the remaining Hunter's Fury blasts, and the rotation from Sentinels comes through onto the A site, but meanwhile, Suggest has been lurking up into B, and the positioning game is well and truly in favor of NUTURN. However, Dapper can still cause problems. But with that said, it looks like NUTURN actually recommit into B. There comes the Paranoia through. Six still good for the frag, though. Sentinels are getting all of the kills as they come back into the site. Suggest, he thinks that he's being unseen, but he gets caught by Dapper. Rolling Thunder comes through to pull them off of the defuse. Solo has to go through the flames. It is not a good look, and it's a firing squad there ready and waiting for Allow. Oh my goodness. It seemed like, again, there's so much promise for NUTURN, but after all of the action, it just makes the action looks very convincing for Sentinels.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not about the kills too, right? It's just that single trapwire that was placed by Dapper on that right side of B, where it basically Suggest activated it by walking over it. It just showed the hand that there was not only a lurk play going into this B site, but the fact that they used a Hunter's Fury and the run it back to push the attackers away from A, you know that hit was happening towards the B side anyway. So after a pulse plant, you already have 3 players rotating back from the A choke, and they didn't give a chance for NUTURN to set up for a pulse plant. And to try to run through a hot hands like that with all these smokes, not necessarily achievable there for NUTURN on a pulse plant when you've lost all your players. So a good time and a good moment to pull out the tactical timeout for NUTURN. They have to try to figure things out. And so far, Dan, they've had some sort of success getting into this B sites, and also from the way that they've been activating the breach into the C site. They're getting a lot of success out of that too, despite the amount of utility that's being placed on the defense for Sentinels. But again, it's the mid rounds, the end rounds, the gunfights that seems to always show an upper hand from Sentinels' side.
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting as well is that NUTURN created this 5v4 very early on in the previous round, and it was looking very good because they then really convinced Sentinels to rotate everybody towards A, and it isolated Dapper completely by himself on the C site. And you know, NUTURN, they could at that point really go for C, but they went for B instead, and that is surprising because B is such a difficult site to hold. And if they were, you know, having Dapper isolated in the way that they had him, definitely, you know, I feel like most teams are going to want to convert there. I feel like B is usually like, well, if we have to, we'll do it. But that's usually the last, the kind of Hail Mary.
You bring up a good point, actually, because even when you're looking at how NUTURN's currently playing this right now, even a pulse plant for utility for a pulse plant, NUTURN doesn't have much, right? Maybe they're able to keep paint shells if they have to keep Suggest alive after an entry on top of that, and shock darts. But you don't have any hot hands. You have to go for flashes and peeks. It's very difficult. But off this timeout, Sick is trying to be the one that's going to make his mark by opening up a kill here from Garage side.
Yeah, feels quite oppressive playing against Sentinels for sure. Good peek there from Sick. And we've got NUTURN now making their way up C long. They've been spotted though, and the rotation definitely respects that from Sentinels. They've got players coming through into position. Dapper defending backside nicely here. Allow goes down. Dapper in his own cage, trying to spray and cause problems here. Able to get the reload off. Lakia unable to really get the space to really secure this site by himself. Needs some help here. Needs somebody to give him a hand, and Suggest comes through, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. Sentinels again just win out on this C site, and that's 8-2 now. They are really getting quite far ahead.
Oh yeah, and you drop the spike, unfortunately, as you're trying to move up towards this C side. That's a great pick from Sig. Look at the amount of headshots he's landing right now too, right? The way that he's playing on top of the logs, even if he doesn't get kills, look at how it enabled for Sentinels to already be on that rotate. The assist coming out here from the shock darts at the same time too. The fault line was a little bit too late. You've lost too many bodies now for NUTURN. And again, unfortunately, I think they have answers right now for NUTURN. It's just they can't lay it down against Sentinels. They're reading it correctly with this boom bot at the beginning, and now the hot hands to even try to push him back. It suggests to see who's running through it.
Oh, such a chance coming through, but Tens absolute hero mode there, saving his teammates. And at the same time, like, we see Allow tried to get some action towards the A side of the map here, but every peak except that one was going the way of Sentinels. But could that be the peak that changes things? It's still a really difficult situation. A 3 versus 4. Solo's on 3 HP as well. And they're against 4 players. Tens has the Blaze Storm ready to go. Oh! Berry out of the sky! Blast 10 straight in the face. And there comes the ult TP all the way across to C. But Perry is alone against 3. This is going to be quite difficult. Just the Sheriff to go, and Dapper's going to pepper him from distance to finish him off. Good attempt. Fantastic shot, but the end result is the same. Sentinels win the round.
Despite all that, I don't care that they lost a round for NUTURN. That was an absolute monster of a shot there from Perry. To flick that into Tens flying in the air. Still 9-2 in favor of Sentinels. You still have, again, those little silver linings that gives you hope as a NUTURN fan. And look at that, he's expected it the whole time. Just really reading the plays. Like I said, NUTURN are doing a good job reading how Sentinels might be playing these retakes, might be playing overall, but it's just, again, the firepower, the skill set for Sentinels seems to be just a little bit too much right now for NUTURN. Look at this. They're just going all out here towards the C site, Dan.
Here we go.
Off a fault line.
Dapper's going to be the recipient of this. He's so slippery, though. He's such a good player at holding his ground at the back of the site. There goes Allow there. Updraft dash on top of the Radiant box. Suggest with the showstopper.
Camera sees it all.
And there goes Hunter's Fury coming through as well. Suggest is going to get tagged, and that's him dead. Spike on just now planted, sick with the running back, comes through off the back of the flash, just doing the damage, getting the kills, and creating space for his teammates. We get the gravity wells causing problems around default as well, but NUTURN still holding onto the site somehow, still. Lakia looking after Garage by himself. Perry trying to hold onto the site with Allow, and Allow's going to go down. Ten's now flanking, it's up to Lakia. Lakia can't get it done though, and Sentinels bring it home. Another round, and we was that a tactical coming through? Am I getting thrown by the overlay?
I wonder, right? Because they still have one to go here for NUTURN, but at the same time, just from hitting these and not run it back, they didn't do it with information. You think they didn't do it, but it did. Just Dapper was a security guard for that round. Like I said, they gave up that site. He played safe inside that B site, turned on the camera, didn't ping a single person. He was just calling out everything for Sick and for Shazam. You see it from the camera feed. One default, and one's hiding in the back of the site. Sick and Shazam are just moving in with their ults and to just open it up. And while they create that ruckus towards the C site, well, Tens was already on that flank at long C. So it was very difficult for NUTURN on that pulse plant to try to win that, just from the sheer fact that they didn't break the camera. It's been another one of those rounds where one single ability has turned around over in favor of Sentinels at that point. Now with this pistol though, pressure is on. They're not feeling it for NUTURN because they're pressuring down towards Stewards and already towards long A. And this allows for the other three players to still manage their stack numbers towards the C side and looking to play a retake on the B site.
Yeah, I love this. B is often just empty, and in a pistol round, it's definitely a different story compared to a gun round in terms of how good it is for the attackers. And we'll have the push coming through on the flank here as well from a lobby from NUTURN to see what they can make happen here. Oh, Zoms gets caught by a fadeaway from Lakia. Tenso picking up where Zoms left off. And Dapper is now fighting by himself against Suggest and Perry. He's going to play the time here as much as possible. There goes Perry, though, with the stick. And Dapper, it was just counting on them coming off of it. It's not going to work out for Dapper. NUTURN pick up a much-needed round, the pistol round, no less, on this second half.
Very nicely done there for NUTURN. Sentinels probably did not expect to have two players coming back on that rotate, on that flank. And that pinch that came in from the garage side was just very well done for NUTURN at this point. You said it, Dan. It was a much important pistol round that was needed here for NUTURN to try to come back into this game, and now at least it allows for that investment to come in for the defender side too. But Sentinels, they just want to close it out right now. Another Marshall in the hands of Tens. He's setting up right now to try to get some sort of control towards the garage area, and the rest of them are now moving just behind him on grass. Looks like it's going to be B instead here.
This is awesome. You would never expect to see him there. The dash comes through solo in a good position to at least get the punish. But look at the chaos here. Sentinels trying to spring off of Tens' action. NUTURN control it though, slow it down. And here they go through Garage. Suggest they're ready and waiting.
Oh.
Zoms down to 1 HP. Perry wants some action here. Moving forward with the Spectre. Oh god, it's so scary. He's 1 HP. Finally finds the bullet onto Zoms. Dapper. He's carved a path through an opening to that A site for the plant. Solo and Perry on the rotation. This is a very messy round here for NUTURN. Let's see if they can find a recovery. Out comes the Sheriff from Dapper. Spotlight comes through as well, and in goes NUTURN. Solo swinging wide with that Judge. And Perry with the Spectre. Nice little combo there, and they'll close it down in favor of NUTURN. Oh, that was a bit scary, though.
When you open it up like that with a beautiful Marshall shot from Tens, and you're making things a little bit difficult in that fight, you've mentioned it. Zoms had 1 HP for the longest time on that battle against Perry inside the garage. For him to still do, what, 25 damage, 50 damage onto Perry before? That shows how it's a little bit shaky for NUTURN. They're starting to feel that pressure, but at least they capitalize on that victory in the end. Fault line doesn't hit anybody, but you got to judge with a drive-by. With that spread on low HP for Sentinels, what they had on a 2 versus 2, you're happy you got that round. But it was expensive. You got another gun round coming in for Sentinels because of that spike plant. Blade Storm from Tens at the same time. Control towards long B, but it's still going to be just slowly but surely taking this tourist control off the Owl drone. Oh, nice.
Ooh. Sick, getting caught there by that nice angle. Elevated position. Tens, once again, looking to open things up for his team. Smoked off, though, so no entry there for Tens. Push
It was so dangerous
from
then.
Solo is
He was
huge.
actually on the double box. If he actually did kill Sick, that was spiked down. That was a little bit
Solo.
dangerous.
Are they going to walk into this position? It looks like they are. There's a trip there. Will they check for Solo? Looks like they might, but he's got the judge! And that's 2 for Solo. That is huge. Gets to upgrade to the Phantom. A 5 versus 3 now for NUTURN. Dapper and Sig do have rifles, though. And NUTURN are taking their precious time on the rotation. They're really trying to check for everything. Solo gets caught by Dapper. 30 seconds to go. Tens is on the site. Still a very good chance for Sentinels to win this round.
30 seconds.
Oh!
Oh,
The jump shot is a great way to start things off here. 10 covering with the daggers, and Sick is going to be doing an even better job with the Phantom. And just like that, it's a 1 versus 3 here for NUTURN. Perry is going to have a hell of a task on his hands. And I mean, there's a couple players that are quite weak, but I'll have to see if Perry can find that first opening engagement. Sentinels with a great peek there. One player in an elevated position, one player lower down for the double peek. You can't really beat that too easily.
it started off so well there for NUTURN. No information gathered by Sentinels after getting picked at the beginning. The trap wire, again, for Solo, not trying to cross it over because he doesn't want to give his position away, thinking that it's going to be the coast clear. Because of that,
30 seconds.
he's able to amass to 2 beautiful kills. But after that, he misses that shot against Dapper. That just turned things over right there for Sentinels. Because if Solo was still alive, that was 2 backstab kills on Sick and Tens. And that makes things a little bit, not a little bit, very unfortunate for NUTURN. They're going to have to go for this buy coming in, and Ares in the hands of Lakia. You have a judge and no armor for Allow. They're really putting everything in right now.
Cool push coming in from Solo. Gets taken down by Zombs by Garage, but look at their pushes coming through. They are really trying to cause problems here, but they're getting caught out. Maybe that's a sign of desperation from NUTURN. Down to three players, and Sentinels will decide to just fully commit this one now to the A site, and allows that with a judge.
It's tough though, exactly. It's going to be a run it back to come in, so Allow is going to have his position away.
Oh, tries to get
Oh
the
my.
punish. He's going to find it somehow. That's 2 players now against 3, so he's really created, Allow has created a chance for his team. I mean, Perry is kind of far away though. Be a very tough one. There's no post-plant ults or anything like that to worry about, but Tens is so lethal. There's not too much to be done about that one.
Yeah, when there's no post-plant utilities that you have to worry about, maybe from shock darts, you still have the firepower that Sentinels has to worry about too, though. That was a nasty shot, and unfortunately, this is going to be a round to think about. They're going to use this time to try to figure out, you see how Solo is thinking right now. What can we actually do to try to bring this round back? Because it's map point, serious point here for Sentinels, as they're just looking to stroll to the grand finals of Masters 2.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very difficult to find the recovery for NUTURN. I really liked how they opened the round with Solo going for that push in mid. I think that was really smart. It caught Sentinels off guard on that timing, but ultimately, you know, we then had like, you know, 2 more pushes in different positions from NUTURN. It's looking like it's, you know, coming apart a little bit, but we'll see. You know, we'll have to see if they're able to find something here. They've had to force buy. This is it. This is match point now for Sentinels. Solo and Suggest, they're just fighting in mid.
But they're retreating.
That one's got a bit too far.
It's a Guardian long range. Oh, Tens gets the kill. And despite them getting the kills, they're still falling back here, Dan. So still giving respect to Sentinels. And now Suggest is by himself.
Gets caught by the Hunter's Fury as well. And just like that, it looks like NUTURN players are evaporating. 2v3, the Rolling Thunder is available, and there it goes. Solo has to do everything by himself here to keep NUTURN alive in this one. And he's going to get peppered from all sides. And there we go. Sentinels take down NUTURN on map